In this week Forex weekly analysis, I'll be sharing my exact trade plan for EURUSD, the Pounds USD, Australia USD, USDJPY, DSY, US30, BTC, and gold. So guys, be sure to watch the entire video. If you are new here, my name is Zil, Forex trader with over 18 years trading experience. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. So let's dive straight to the Forex analysis. Let's start with from the weekly time frame. The pounds on the weekly time frame still have this sideways trend. From the structure, we still have a sideways trend on the pounds USD. So long we have this sideways trend on the pounds USD, we are not expecting any major move until we see a break below. Then we can start looking for a major move. Then we'll see a break above. We can start looking for a major move on the pounds USD. So what are we expecting from the pounds USD? So long the trend of the pounds USD on the weekly still remain on the sideways trend. So this week we are still expecting price to drop for this week. We are expecting a drop from the pounds USD this week. Why are we expecting that drop from the pounds USD? We can see we have price close on this resistance level, which indicates reversal of price back to this support level. Then if price fail to break this support level, this might trigger price back to the top. Then if price break this level, this might trigger for more bearish trend for the pounds USD. So long we have the candlestick anatomy still indicating price closing on a resistance level on the weekly chart, our job this week is to look out for selling opportunity. So long the higher time frame saying price is expected to sell this week was price close on the resistance level. So let's go to the daily time frame. On my daily time frame, we can clearly see that we have price rejecting from this resistance level, which might trigger the reversal of price back to this weekly support level, which is trigger price to reverse back to this weekly support level, which means if price can break this, if price can fail to break this support level, this might trigger price to move back up. Then if price break this level, this support level, this might trigger price to still move lower on the BTC USD. So what is the trend of the BTC USD on the daily time frame? On my daily time frame, let's look at the trend of the market of the BTC. So on the daily time frame, you can clearly see that we still have a sideways trend, which is the major trend of price on the BTC USD. Then also on the daily, we are starting to see a new waves of new trend building up for the pounds USD on the daily time frame, which is the new wave is starting from which price started to create higher high and a lower high. Then we can see a break of this level. This might create a lower high, then for price to push more lower. Once you see a series of lower high, this might trigger more bearish trend for the pounds USD to the downside. So this week we are still expecting to look out for more of the selling opportunity on the pounds USD. So let's look at the next pair, which is the EURUSD. Let's start from the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price still close on this resistance level on EURUSD, which is we have price close on this resistance level. Price tested this particular support level and close on a resistance level. What does this indicate? This indicates we might see a retest of these areas, then we can start looking for more sell, because the price on the weekly time frame on the EURUSD still remain on a resistance level. If we are looking for any areas to buy, we might look for buy opportunity from a support level. We can't buy from a resistance area, which is risky for us to do. So if we are looking for any means for buyers, will be better to buy from this level. But we can't buy from this area. This area still remain a resistance area for us this week. So it's better we look out for buy from this level and look out for sell from this area. So our scenario for this week on the Euro USD still remain on a bearish trend. So let's look at the structure of the weekly time frame for the Euro USD. The weekly structure for the Euro USD still remain on a sideways trend, which is we have this sideways trend already. Then we also have price starting to create creating new trend, which is we have this higher high and a lower high. This is a sign of price trying to create a new trend, but for us to see that new trend created, we need the price to break below this level, this lower low. Then once we see a lower high, which means we now have a series of lower high, this might start to create that new trend we are expecting from the Euro USD. So before we can see any major move for sell, we need a break below for a series of lower high for us to see that major selling opportunity on the Euro USD. So let's look at the daily time frame of the Euro USD. So on the daily time frame on Euro USD, we are still expecting price to keep pushing lower for the Euro USD. We can clearly see that price started creating a series of lower high, which is we have this higher high and a lower high, then a lower high, lower high. So this series of lower high indicates we see expect bearish trend pushing down for the Euro USD to this support area, and a break of this support might trigger more sell for the Euro USD. So our scenario for this week still remain bearish on the Euro USD, because on the daily time frame we can clearly see that we also have price close on this particular resistance level on the daily time frame. So long we have price on this resistance level on daily time frame, this might also support price pushing lower for this week on the Euro USD. But our current level now on Euro USD is not encouraging for us to sell the Euro USD, because we have price on a resistance, we also have price on a support level. So we need a break below this level, then first start looking for more sell on Euro USD. So we can't sell from this level right now. We need a break below or a sell stop below this level, then which is better for you to sell the Euro USD to the downside. So we still expect more of the selling opportunity this week on the Euro USD. So let's look at the buying scenario for Euro USD. For buying scenario, we need to look for break of price above this high, then we can start looking for buying to the top. So for now, our scenario for this week still remain on a downtrend. So we expect more of the selling opportunity on the Euro USD this week. So let's look at the structure of price on the Euro USD on the daily time frame. So the structure of price on Euro USD on the daily time frame, the major structure still remain on a sideways trend, but the inner structure of the Euro USD still remain on a downtrend. So that is for the Euro USD. So let's look at the next pair. But before we look at the next pair, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more trading tips and forex analysis. If you are serious with your trading career and you want to take your trading career to the next level, you can get access to my one-on-one mentorship. The link also in description below, or you can book for my video course. The link also in description below. So let's continue with the analysis. So we'll look at our next pair now, which is the dollar index. The dollar index on the weekly time frame closed on a support level. Price rejected from this resistance level, then close on a support level. Like this week, we are still finding it difficult for price to break high and break low of this dollar index level. We might see a surprise move this week where we might see price on the dollar index pushing back to this resistance or price dropping. So for me, I don't have a clear direction for dollar index. For now, the dollar index for me still not that clear. Where I can get a clear move on the dollar index, I need a clear break of price above this area. Once I see a clear break of price above this area, then I can say we have a clear move for price to move up. Then a break below, you can say we have a clear move for price to move down. So for now, whatever thing you are trading on the dollar index, you have to be cautious and careful because you are just trading a reversal trend. Anything can happen for now on the dollar index. In short, if you are trading the major pairs for now, anything can happen. So the trend are not that trustworthy for you to risk high percentage of your accounts on them. So we have to be careful and trade with proper risk management on dollar pairs for now. Until we see a break of these major levels, then we can start looking for good buying or selling opportunity on the dollar index. So let's look at the structure of the dollar index. On the dollar index, we are currently seeing price starting to build a new trend, which is we have this lower low and a higher low. So this is a sign of a new wave for buying opportunity. But for us to confirm this wave for the new move, we need the break of price above this area. Then price creates another level of a higher low. Then we can start looking for strong buy. But this shows that price has turned towards strong dollar, which is bullish trend for the dollar. So once we see a break of this level, this might trigger a strong bullish momentum for the dollar index. This current new wave, we can't confirm it yet until we see a break of this level before we can confirm the new wave on the dollar index. So let's look at the daily chart of the dollar index. So on the daily chart of the dollar index, a new trend have already started. You can see we have lower low and series of higher, which is we have this lower low and it's higher low and higher low and higher low. So this is a series of higher low, which indicate a new wave of buying opportunity for the dollar index. But our current level where price closed on the daily time frame, we see our price close on a resistance level. So long we have price close on this resistance level, we need a break of price above this level. Then we first start looking for possible buying opportunity to the top. Or if you can see a break below this level, this might trigger price pushing lower for the dollar index. So our current level is not a level we encourage any buying for the dollar index. We need price to convert this particular resistance level into a support level before start looking for any major buy on the dollar index this week. So let's look at the major structure of the dollar index. Our major structure on the daily time frame still remain on a sideways trend. We don't have a clear direction yet on the dollar index on the daily time frame. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Australia USD. Australia USD on my daily time frame still remain on a weekly time frame, still remain on a bullish trend. We still have strong bullish momentum for the Australia USD on the weekly time frame. So why do we say we expect more bullish move on the Australia USD on the weekly time frame? We can see we have lower low and a series of higher low. This series of higher low indicates bullish momentum for the Australia USD. But for us to buy this Australia USD, we can't buy from this current resistance level. So Australia USD is currently in this resistance level. We need price to come to a support area for us to buy the Australia bar to the top. So we are expecting price to drop this week to that our area of interest for the weekly support for us to buy the Australia to the top. Because buying from that particular resistance on the weekly is risky. Trust me. Any buying from that area, trust me, you will lose your hard-earned money. So look for better levels, which is the weekly support levels. Then you can start looking for your buying opportunity. Buying from the current level is not advisable. So let's go to the daily time frame. So on my daily time frame, we can also see that price started to create new trend on the Australia USD, which is we now have this higher high and a lower high, then a lower high. So this is a sign of new trend building up for the Australia USD. So we expect price to drop to this support area. Then we can start looking for buy to the top for the Australia. So if we are buying from this resistance, they are all risky level to buy. So it's not encouraging to buy from these levels. Buying from these levels is risky. You can see that these levels are all weekly resistance and daily resistance, which is not encouraging towards to buy. Buy from this support level will be a good area for you to buy to the top. So look for your buys from this weekly and also a daily support level on the Australia USD. So let's look at our next pair, which is the USDJPY. Let's start from the weekly time frame. Let's start with the trend of the market on the weekly. On my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that we have this lower low and a series of higher low. So price creates this series of higher low, which shows that there's a strong bullish momentum for the USDJPY. So long we have this strong bullish momentum for the USDJPY, our job is to still look out for more of the buying opportunity on the USDJPY. So we expect price this week to drop back to this support area, this weekly support area. Then we can start looking for more buy. So this week we expect a retest. Then we can start looking for more buy for the USDJPY. So let's look at the daily time frame of the USDJPY. On my daily time frame, we can clearly see that we have new wave building up for the USDJPY, which is we have this lower low, then higher low and higher low. So this is a sign of bullish wave for the USDJPY, which shows that we're expecting more buy for the USDJPY to this next. A break of price above this high might trigger more buying opportunity for the USDJPY. So this week, our scenario for the USDJPY still remain on a bullish trend. So we have to look out for more of the buying opportunity this week for the USDJPY. So let's look at our next pair, which is the gold USD. The gold USD on my weekly time frame have an inner structural bearish trend for this week. You can see we have price creating series of lower highs. Along we have this series of lower high, we see expect price to continue to push lower this week for the gold USD. So we're expecting price to drop to this next weekly support level before we start making. If price fail to break this level, this might trigger a reversal back to the top. But if price break this level, this might trigger more sell for the gold USD. But the current level of the gold USD, we have price on a support level. So long we have price on this support level, we have to trade with caution for the gold USD. I don't like trading on a support level because this areas is also a weak area for us to also sell the gold USD. Even with price having this strong downtrend, I can't sell from that level because we have a support level on the weekly time frame. So let's look at the daily time frame of the gold USD. So on my daily time frame, we can clearly see that we have the major structure for gold still remain on a downtrend. You can see we have this higher high and a series of lower high. This series of lower high indicates a bearish trend for the gold USD. For sell scenario, we need a break below this level, then we can start looking for price to sell to this support level. For the buying scenario, we need a break of this high, then we can wait for a test, then start looking for buy to these areas. So gold for this week still remain on a bearish trend. So we have to look out for more of the selling opportunity on gold this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is let's look at the US30 before we look at the BTC USD. So the US30 on the weekly time frame converts this resistance. You can see price converted this resistance into a support level. Then we can also see that we have a new trend already on the US30, which is we now have this price creating lower low and a higher low, then higher low. This series of higher lows indicates bullish trend for the US 30. So our job this week, so long we weekly time frame have bullish trend on US 30, our job this week is to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the US 30. If you are trading, looking for sell opportunity now, I don't encourage that. So look out for more of the buying, because the weekly time frame is already pointing for us to look out for more of buying than selling on the US 30. So let's drop down to our daily chart to look at for areas we have to look at for the buying opportunity. So what we expect this week on the US 30, we need price to retest back to this zone, give us a buying price setup, then we can start looking for buying opportunity to the top. So we are expecting price to move back to this level or these areas before we start looking for that buying opportunity for the US 30 to the top. So we don't want to buy from a resistance level. We want to buy from a support level so that price will support our movement of price back to the top on the US 30. So let's look at the trend of the US 30 on the daily time frame. On my daily time frame, we can clearly see that we see our price still have strong bullish momentum. You can see we have this lower low and a series of higher low. Along we have this series of higher low. This is a sign of bullish trend for us this week. So our job to look at more of the buying opportunity on the US 30 than selling. So look at more of the buying opportunity on the US 30. So let's look at the next pair, which is the gold USD. Sorry, which is the BTC USD. BTC USD on my weekly time frame still remain on this support level. You can see we see have price on this particular support areas. So long we have price on this level, we might see possible change of trend back to the top. If you watch my previous analysis last week, I said I'm expecting price to move to reverse back to this top, but with the current close of price now, the move have not started. So we are still expecting price to move from this level to this resistance level. But because we can't sell from this support level, selling from these areas are all traps. So don't sell from this level. So it will be difficult selling from that particular area on the BTC USD. So look out for selling around this area for us to sell to the down for the BTC USD. So let's look at the daily time frame of the BTC USD. But before we look at the daily time frame, let's look at the structure on the weekly time frame. We have this higher high and a series of lower highs. So long we have this series of lower high, then we'll now have an inner structure for lower low and higher low. So long we have these structures, this indicates we see how the bearish trend for the BTC USD. Let's look at the daily time frame. On my daily chart, we can clearly see that we now have a good price zone set up already, indicating buying for the BTC USD, which is pointing more of buying for the BTC USD this week. So we are expecting price to buy back to the next resistance level, which is this resistance level, which is price. Expecting price to buy it back to this resistance area. So this is what we're expecting for the BTC this week. If you are buying now, be rest assured to take your profit from this area. Then before we start looking for possible selling opportunity for down for the BTC USD. So if you're a struggling trader and still find it difficult to trade properly in this financial market, you can book for my one-on-one mentorship. The link is in the description below, or you can get access to my video course. The link also in the description below. If you find this analysis helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more trading tips and forex analysis.